everyone, welcome back, it's Film Rich. Today we're diving into The Punisher Season 1 Episode 6, which is titled The Judas Goat. In this episode, Frank Castle battles fever dreams, Curtis gets dragged into the chaos, and Lewis makes a deadly choice, and old alliances start to twist. Before we get into the video, I would like to please remind everyone to like, share and subscribe for more videos, and without further ado, let's break it down scene by scene. We open with Frank Castle wounded and delirious, caught in a haunting Thanksgiving dream. Both the Castle and Lieberman family share dinner, but the warmth quickly turns to horror as Frank finds himself restrained. Soldiers storm in, and despite his desperate cries, everyone at the table is slaughtered. Frank jolts awake in pain, realizing it was just a dream, but the guilt is very real. At the hideout, Micro calls in Curtis Hoyle to help patch Frank up. Curtis removes an arrow from Frank's shoulder, with Micro assisting, though Micro almost loses it at the sight of blood. Still, Curtis gets the job done. Afterward, he gives Micro a harsh lecture, blaming him for pulling Frank back into a violent life when he was trying to move on. Elsewhere, Billy Russo and Dinah Madani spend another night together, but come morning, things shift. Russo spots Madani's file on Frank Castle and starts to suspect that their relationship may not be as genuine as he thought. When Frank wakes again, his first thought is of his fallen comrade, Gunnar Henderson. Micro tells him Henderson is dead, but he's arranged for a proper burial. Frank quietly thanks him. Meanwhile, at Curtis's veteran support group, O'Connor rants about America's treatment of soldiers. Curtis responds with a story from his corpsman training about a goat he had to keep patched up, a metaphor for the broken cycle of violence. At home, Sarah Lieberman confronts her son Zach over a stolen skateboard. When Leo tells the truth, Zach lashes out and slaps her. Sarah calls him out for his anger, but Zach only calls his family snitches and traitors. Watching from the hideout, Frank and Micro witness the family turmoil through surveillance footage. Micro wants to step in, but Frank reminds him that he can't. Not yet. Back at Anvil, Russo begins sending out coded radio calls. Blackbird calling Raven. Micro intercepts the transmission, and Frank recognizes it. Russo is reaching out to him. Micro worries it's a trap, but Frank insists Russo is a friend, though he's unsure how much Russo actually knows. At the city courthouse, Lewis, Wilson and O'Connor protest a case involving a teacher who brought a gun to school. Things escalate when police confront them. Lewis insists they're careful, but the officer accuses him of reaching for his weapon. Lewis denies it, looks for O'Connor to back him up, and sees his mentor walking away. Lewis is arrested, betrayed and furious. Agent Madani and Sam Stein arrive in Kentucky where Gunnar Henderson's body has been found. Surveying the scene, Madani concludes that there was a gunfight and at least 2 people involved. She collects DNA evidence convinced that the survivor was none other than Frank Castle. Later, Frank and Micro share a quiet dinner. Frank tells a story about his family, but the memory of his earlier nightmare haunts him. The ghosts of his past still won't let go. Lewis visits Curtis early at the support group, asking for help after his arrest. Curtis shows him proof that O'Connor faked his entire military record. No Silver Star, not even Vietnam service. Lewis later confronts O'Connor, furious at the deception. Their argument turns violent, and in the struggle, Lewis kills O'Connor with his own knife. Madani finally tells Russo the truth. Frank Castle is alive. She asks for his health and Russo plays along. He goes to Curtis for answers, but Curtis denies everything. Russo warns him the government already suspects Frank has survived. Curtis tries to contact Frank afterward, but gets no response. Frustrated, he storms out, leaving Micro to convince Frank to respond to Russo's calls, if he still trusts him. Later, under his alias Pete Castiglione, Frank visits the Lieberman house. Sarah opens up about how hopeless things feel. Watching through the cameras, Micro can only observe. Frank comforts her, promising that things will get better. Back at the waterfront, Russo waits for Frank, who never shows. Giving up, Russo gets into the car where he's joined by none other than CIA agent William Rawlins. It's a silent but chilling reveal that Russo's loyalties may not be where Frank believes. And that wraps up The Punisher Season 1, Episode 6, The Judas Goat. The episode deepens the fractures between alliances and sets the stage for betrayals to come. Frank's circle is shrinking and his enemies are closing in. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell for more Marvel series recaps right here on Film Rich.